Hello and welcome back to another new edition of Windows and Current Affairs, and today we embark over the 53rd round of the International Book Fair, Cairo International Book Fair. Of course, people wait in anticipation at this time every year for this particular event or this fair, because it's a very important one as it gathers different cultures from all over the world. It's coming right to your hands at one place where you can visit for almost 14 or 15 days, and you can take a tour to follow up with the latest cultures, with the latest published books in all fields, and other events and other also interests, not only books but music fairs, but also artistic ones, you name it. So it's one of the most important cultural events that is being held in Cairo at this time of the year, and to embark over its importance and enhancing the awareness, educational, and the empowering of reading amongst the new generations. Here, we're very delighted to be having with us here our dear guest, Dr. Ibrahim Tehewi, and he is an educational expert. Good evening, Dr. Tehewi. First of all, I know that this book fair has come a long way, but each year it is held, it comes totally different from the previous one.
Yeah. First of all, I'd like to thank the presidency and President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, because he sponsors this book fair, in fact, and it is very, very important because this year it is very distinguished because we have new innovation of this book fair. Okay, firstly, this book fair is distinguished because for the first time we launch and we give due care, and it's very, very important to focus on the digital attitude of the books. So for the first time we find, for example, online selling. Before we didn't find that. Okay, when I visited many times before, I was suffering from how to buy some books, okay, which was took my interests. And here it was very, very easy. It's now very easy, because if you want to buy any book, and you can buy it online. So the ministry, I'd like also to thank the great efforts, my appreciation to the Minister of Culture, in fact, because also they exerted great efforts to make it easy and to facilitate this to all the readers and to all the Egyptian citizens by making a website, and on this website you can book before visiting, before going. Okay, if you want to go alone, if you want to go twice, if you want to go or visit the book fair with your family, whatever, you can book online. Okay, and in the same time you can also buy any book you want online, okay, by your credit card. This, in fact, facility wasn't found before, so it's very, very important. At the same time, we would like to also focus, the President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi is very, very interested in this book fair, because we saw many conferences held by many youth, okay, because here the aim is to exchange experience. We have for the first time this huge number of participants from all over the world, whether Arabic or in foreign countries. We have 1,061 countries participated, and in the same time we have also 50 countries by some kind, they were allowed to participate in this book fair. A huge number, in fact, of countries. The aim is to exchange experience. Okay, all the time I say that it's very, very important to get benefit from the culture of other. If we pass this book fair without getting benefit, so it will be useless. So the President himself is very interested in this point of view, how to allow our youth, okay, and you know that he is many years before he's interested in the youth and their thoughts and their ideas and their point of view, to exchange. Here, this is a great chance for youth to exchange experience with other countries, with other youth. At the same time, I'd like to focus that For the first time also, we have differentiations. As you started the intro of this episode, we have the different varieties of, not only, it is not only a matter of books, no, we have open forum, we have musical conferences, we have speeches or forum conferences about many things. Okay, the aim here is to exchange, to say that we are Egypt. And what I was surprised, because when I was surprised because I found that most of the youth, foreigner, especially foreigner or foreign youth, they were interested on the books which talking about ancient Egypt. And we have a huge number. We have the great news, important news declared about very important details about how the foreigners are interested in buying books that talking about ancient Egypt. Okay, and in fact, this was there was a huge number of books which were sold by or talking about ancient Egypt. At the same time, I'd like to say that Dr. Zahi Hawass also, he has a very important book called El Haris, or The Guard. This book, in fact, it's a great book, and there was a focus on this book by many countries, because you know that Dr. Zahi Hawass is a famous character worldwide. And when we mention this character, Dr. Zahi Hawass, we mention the culture, we talk about the monuments, we talk about the Egypt treasure, in fact. So this book, in fact, was sold by a huge number of a variety, because it's talking about the ancient Egypt and how the ancient Egyptians were civilized, they were living in some kind of not welfare and prosperity, but some great developments. In fact, they achieved or did or managed to do many great things, in fact. So you know that here we have a main interest from most of the foreigners on this book, in fact, El Haris or The Guard by Dr. Zahi Hawass. At the same time, I'd like to say that for the first time we found Dr. Yahya Haqqi, for example. Okay, this is a guest of honor in this festival or this carnival or book fair, and for the first time we can see the technology or technique of homogram, which is making the youth or any participant or any visitor to watch Dr. Yahya Haqqi and ask him. And in fact, when I read the questions which were asked by the audience or the visitor to Dr. Yahya Haqqi, as if they are watching him. You know, the homogram, you may ask the audience, what do you mean by homogram? Homogram, this is an imaginary picture or visualizing the character as if you are watching him, as we watched with the character of Kulthum, for example. Okay, he is talking and answering the questions. From the questions, for example, they asked, or most of the foreigners were interested about his written works, Dr. Yahya Haqqi, and he answered his birth, okay, his level of education, okay. And for the first time, I was surprised that Dr. Yahya Haqqi, although he was working at the beginning of in the field of law, but he changed after that to be on the field of the Ministry of Foreign Ministry. After that, he has become a great writer. And here we have a message to all the youth, to all the people who are following us. In fact, here we have many models, we have many great examples in Egypt, like these great Egyptian writers we have to follow. He suffered in his life, how he traveled abroad, how he depended on himself, okay, although his father didn't give him the chance, but he insisted to be a character. And he had many written works, and he had many great books, in fact, which after that became films. For the children also, it's very important to highlight the role of the children in the book fair. We didn't neglect the book fair this year. Is distinguished because it focused, and for the first time, to make a partition for children. And Dr. Yusuf Abdel Tawab, for example, was the guest of honor in this part, or this partition for the children. And for the first time also, they gave the chance for the children to participate, to express their ideas, to allow them using what we call artificial intelligence, okay, because you know the President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi himself is interested in this point of view, artificial intelligence, okay, and we have now a faculty called artificial intelligence, okay, which is very, very important and sponsored by the President himself, because this faculty, I think, or this way of thinking will create a new generation who are capable of challenging the new future, and who are capable of changing their thoughts, their ways of ideas, their point of views, their way of thinking. Because the market now, you know, work market now, we have to link between this and that. It's very important. From the book fair, you may ask me, our great audience, what's the relation between the book fair today, and which will end in 7th of February, okay, and the work market. It's very, very great important, because and the great link, because here from this point, and here I'd like to invite all the youth who didn't or haven't visited the book fair yet to try to because it's a great opportunity and the chance to visit this book fair. I believe that it will change their point of view when they see and meet variety and different characters from all over the world. I think it's a great chance for all youth. Okay, so let's return back to children. It's very, very important, because here the book fair, it's a new station, or the beginning of a station to allow our children to think. And here I'd like to talk about, to link between the book fair and the Minister of Education. I invite, and I hoped, in fact, the Minister of Education to make a protocol with this book fair this year, and to let the chance, or to give the chance, or to let our students in the Ministry of Education, whether primary stage, or secondary stage, to organize some trips for the book fair, which I haven't found, in fact. And I ask, and please, I invite Dr. Tariq Shawi, you still have the time, and we are coming
maybe
tomorrow.
Because of the pandemic?
Maybe, but in fact we can organize,
and things aren't as busy as the usual.
Yes, we can put in our minds and point of view this, you know, the masks and something like that. It will be okay if we organized this. And I ask and invite, please, Dr. Tariq Shawi, try to let the students, because from tomorrow we have a mid-year holiday. So I think this is a greater chance for our students to visit the book fair. I didn't find one announcement from the Minister of Education. I know they were busy because of the exams. Okay, we have finished today, Thursday, most of the schools have finished their exams. From tomorrow, I think, we have Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. We still have 4 days. So from here, from Windows, I invite the Ministry of Education, please let your students to visit the book fair, because it is a greater chance for them, will change their point of view, to let our children know what's happening here and there, up and down, everywhere, and as we say in poetry, to see how the world are thinking. It's a very, very great chance for them to go to the book fair and to see what's happening. Here also, I'd like to focus about the importance of reading, okay? Because, okay, you know that most of the students nowadays are interested in what? In playing games most of the time.
That's true. And
we suffer from this point of view in the field of education. So, why, or what can we do as experts, the Minister of Education or Minister of Culture, or yeah, I think it's a great burden on the Minister of Education and the Minister of Culture to make a protocol between each other, okay, for the students, school students, to let them try to read again. Mrs. Suzanne Mubarak, we can't neglect her role in this field, in fact, okay, by the great libraries which was established in her era. In fact, it was a great step, and the first step, it was a great challenge. Okay, Dr. Mustafa Al-Fi, I'd like to appreciate his efforts, because in Alexandria Bibliothèque or library, in fact, it is a great library, okay, which represents the whole world. But what about the Egyptian youth? Okay, what about the Minister of Education? I invite also, please, I want a protocol between the Minister of Education and Dr. Mustafa Al-Fi'i, because he is responsible of now as a manager of Alexandria Bibliothèque or library, to visit, to organize a visit for schools to these libraries, to encourage
it's very
reading,
precious.
to encourage
But
reading. It's
then,
very, very important.
this year it comes a little bit different because of the pandemic,
Yeah.
and because already the generations, not only the new ones but also the old ones, are already all oriented by the pandemic, and we're coping with it. We're being friendly with the pandemic
Yeah.
and living by it.
Yeah.
So how have the pandemic left its impact over events like that, especially with the advent of technology in our lives?
Yeah.
Metaverse and you know, virtual reality,
Yeah.
and 3 and 4 and 5D techniques. How have that set a totally different platform for this type of events for people?
Yeah, here it's very, very important. You focus about very important point of view, and which we have to apply, and also in the business of education, 3D or 4D or virtual education. And it's very, very important. Why? Because our students, you know, they are interested mainly on modern technology. Okay, but it is a problem of what? Of most of the methods, still the method. I'm talking frankly speaking about the method which is still traditional way in teaching. So it's very, very important. We have to change, and we have to invite most of the teachers to come to visit what's happening here in the book fair. It's very important. If we suffer from the pandemic or we have a problem, okay, let's some teachers, okay, not all of them, because they will be ambassadors after that to their colleagues. That's right. So here, I insist, in fact, because we have finished the exam, nothing happened during the exams, which we have finished today, Thursday. Nothing happened. And all the students, there were, in fact, strict regulations from the Ministry of Education. And I noticed that from many schools which I visited, that most of the students, in fact, respected the regulations of corona pandemic, and nothing happened. We thank Allah, although we have micro or micron or something like that without the different names. In fact, we thank Allah that we managed to overcome this problem. But here, talking about the digital way of reading, it's very important, and we have to invade the minds of our students from this. How? Because as I said, and as I told you, that most of our students are interested, mainly interested in what? In playing games, on tablets all the time, mobiles all the time. So what did the Ministry of Culture and the Ministry of Education did? What did they do for this branch or this field? Okay, in fact, I want the Ministry of Education and the Ministry with the cooperation of Ministry of Culture to try to invest the minds of the children, especially children, to try to invest the way they are thinking by, because they are really ready to receive anything by digital way, not traditional way. If you give your, for example, your son, my son, for example, for primary 4, okay, if you give him a book, no, he is frustrated from the book. Okay, he doesn't want to read the book. But if you give him a mobile or a gamifying anything, it will be, he will read it, he will be interested in it. So we have to invade the mind of the students and these youth from this way, from digital. It's very, very important, because I found no one buy a book today, little or a few number of people who insisted to buy some books, or okay, and we saw the number. I can't forget what happened today, a video for the great actor Muhi Ismail, for example. He is very, very angry, and he refused to visualize with any reporter or any journalist, because he was surprised by the attendees. He was surprised because he found only in front of him 10 or 15 only attendees, and he had a seminar. Okay, he was shocked, and he insisted not to complete. And Muhi Ismail, you know that I respect his mind of way of thinking and the culture, and he has some thoughts to deliver to the youth. Also, we can't neglect that many great characters in Egypt. We have to held conferences investing this book fair, and allow the students of schools to try to, with few number, I'm not talking about a huge number, not few number, respecting also the regulations and following the regulations of the pandemic to visit the book fair, because it's a very good station and a very good step for the future. Because here I'd like to also to appreciate the usage of the title, or choosing the title of the Ministry of Culture for this book fair, which is your book is the way of culture. Choosing this name, in fact, this year, your book is your culture. And most of the foreigners say, you are what you read. This is an English proverb. So you are what you read here, in fact, because most of the foreigners all over the world, they respect you not according to your clothes or according to your shape or according to your suit or your tie. No, they respect you according to the content, according to your thoughts, your mind, your way of thinking. Okay, so I think we have it's due time to change our way of thinking by exchange experience, as I said, with all these international and the foreigners from all over the world. It's a great chance here, a chance for our youth to participate in this book fair, because it's a carnival. It's a very good station for our youth to try to change their way of thinking and try to know what's happening in over the world, because we want this youth after that to be challenged, to be able to challenge the future and to be able to, after that, cope with the work market. It's very, very important, because we suffer from that. And I can't forget what happened in front of the president himself. He was happy because the Minister of Telecommunications, Dr. Talat, in fact, he gathered some youth who are now working online, okay? And the president focused on this idea, because online now, okay, which is also focused on in this book fair, online working now is very, very important. This is a new method of working. So are our youth now capable of that? Are they ready to work online now? I think we have great steps to follow, to equip, okay, and to prepare our youth to be international youth, the men of the world, as we say.
Building on working online, I think most of the new generations and the students are coping already with working online, and they've already adapted to such a method because of the advent of the pandemic. So this might be one of the good side effects,
of course, yes,
of some problems that we face. And the same thing might be affected on events like that, because online communication could have its implications also on many fronts, with the advent, like I told you, of with the advent of 3D and 4D elements and the metaverse. So did you observe that, or did you notice, or have you assessed the changes in the book fair? Were coping with the same idea, or was it the classical one?
In fact, they try. It's a great change, okay? But we want, I dream, to apply this, what's happening now in the book fair, which will end in 7th of February, in our schools and our universities, okay? And I think it will be a great chance if we apply that in the field of education, because our, as you said, our new generation is ready to receive any new change, okay? But here I'd like to talk about what? About a block, which I found, in fact, in many trainings, most of the teachers who don't want to change their criteria, who don't want to change their way of thinking, who don't want to change anything in front of them, because we don't want to change, we give me money only. And so they, when I talk with them, okay, they refer everything to funds and to money. So here we have to train these teachers, okay, by giving them a chance to see and try to experiment these new ways and new strategies of education. It's very, very important. So because we have many countries who have, in fact, a great and achieved great progress because of this, because they haven't changed it. Many times I said, till when we are going to say this is happening in Japan, this is happening in America? No, we have to.
And we're not innovating.
Yes,
on ourselves.
We should have our criteria. We should have our model, which should and say this
Exactly.
made in Egypt. Okay. And in the field of education is a very, very important field and fertile field for that.
So what I can see now is that you are very much with innovation, with the new inspirations and coping with modern techniques of, let me not call it education, but awareness and culture, which creates a huge bond or a strong bond between a book fair like that and the educational process. Why? Because it is totally eliminating the old-fashioned harsh way of formal process of education, improvising and you know, studying by heart and you know, reciting what you study, but at the same time you go and you read and you observe things and on his way, and at the same time observe what's happening worldwide, different cultures.
Yeah, of course, it's very important.
How can you present that to the students on a tray, so that you could present that, or you can introduce that to the kid, where you could go and on his will, you know, on his free day, to go and visit the fair and pick up his favorite books and learn from them.
Yeah, frankly speaking, let's say, okay, that it is not enough only to visit the book fair, but till when we are going to apply what I watched myself in the book fair, okay, from 3D or 4D and what's it. As I told you, most of our students are ready, because my sons all the time on mobiles, and they watch very important things which I haven't watched up till now. They are ready, but do we have the classes? Do we have the equipped classes in the Ministry of Education? No. In fact, up till now, I'm talking about the governmental sector, okay? Here, I'm talking about the majority of the classes. When we find most of the classes, like what's happening in Japan, the students enter the class, and in this class we have only 10 students, 15 students, he finds a class in front of him equipped with, like multimedia, equipped with everything in front of him. I think by this way, we are going to say that what we watched is applicable, is applied. But okay, we are going to watch, we are going to visit, but I hope, I am dreaming up till now, I dream to find a model of education here, system of education in Egypt, to cope or suit the minds of the new generation. I hope. The president himself, in fact, was interested in this point of view. When visited India, China, and Malaysia, what happened? He said a speech which I haven't forget up till now. He said what? He was talking in a conference, for youth conference, and he said, I was surprised as the president because I was passing by on some students. I was visiting one of the schools, and what surprised me, I was astonished because I found the students weren't attracted to me as a president, but they were attracted to the teacher, to their teacher in class. Okay, they didn't leave their teacher and look because I am the president or the people or the guests around him. No, this has not happened. So I asked myself, what happened? Here we have a secret, the secret of attraction, the point of attraction. These students are attracted by what? Not only by their teacher or educator, but the system around them. Okay, they are doing what? They are doing projects. I hope to so luck. In fact, we have a great step like Japanese schools, okay? But what's happening about Japanese school, okay, in fact, the beginning was good, was great. We have enthusiasm at the beginning, but after that, I didn't hear as a citizen in the field of education about Japanese school. We talked we were talking about here in this program about Tokatsu, okay, and how the students are going to participate, are going to make projects, are going to speak, are going to express themselves, to doing some projects like STEM. like STEM schools. This is happening in most of the schools, okay? Whether Maadi, October, or Ismailia, most of the schools at these schools, the STEM schools, doing or depending on what? Not centered teacher, but centered class. Which means what? In traditional education, which we lack in fact, because this, we have a great link between this and the book fair. It's very, very important to change the way of thinking, to change the way of educating, the way of the education or educating people. Center the class depending on teacher, depending on talking all the time like a parrot, memorizing or reciting as Your Excellency said. But here I want to change the process, the education system to centered students. To make or allow or give a chance for the students to participate, to talk, to express themselves, to search about projects. And here, in fact, I'd like to say we still have the cup is still full, because if we want to talk about fourth primary, I found that with my son, he's in fourth primary. Although some citizens, some especially women from in many groups, they criticize all the time, criticize what Dr. Tariq Shawqi is trying to make.
You mean parents?
Yes, okay. But what's happening? While I was studying with my son, Omar, his fourth primary, as I said, he gave him, for example, in English, 2 governorates, okay, telling him that these governorates specialize for so, and what about culture, what about agriculture, what about industry, what about the population, okay. He gives them what he wants him to be aware of his country, okay. So he asked him to make what? To search about another governorate. Why? Because he didn't want to spoon feed the students. He wanted to change the mind of the student to search.
He wanted him to have this analytic thinking.
Yes, in fact. So I confess here from Windows, from this honorable program, that we have great change, yes. But please wait, because Dr. Tariq Shawqi didn't come to challenge the people or challenge the, no, because he wants to what? To change. But again, let's refer to the idea or the criteria of some or most of the teachers who don't want to change. For example, when I write an article, for example, about online education and the innovation, okay, and try to publish or spread this or post this article in many groups for teachers. Can you imagine what's happening? Many criticism on my article. Although I am talking about what should happen, okay? And in fact, I know that we have great challenges, but here let's refer again to the ideas and the way of thinking of the new generation. Believe me, they are ready to receive any new innovation, any development or achievements, or any digital way of thinking or reading, but we have to help them. Okay, it is not only a matter of tablet or no, because I noticed that what's happening during the exam, for example, most of the students memorize the PDF or the book on the tablet and nothing happened. No, we want them to what? To use this tablet for what? What about the
making
information
surveys.
bank? What about the, yes, surveys is very important. What about the information bank? Why don't you make the educational system depending on competing with each other? It's very, very important. And announcing that on media from this program, we are going to, because by this way we are going to change. We have a great challenge, how to change the way of thinking. But in the same time, I still dream as a citizen and a person who is specialized or concerning or has great interests in education, in the field of education, to find the class like what's happening in Japan or America or China or Malaysia, by find a class equipped with all digital, okay, equipments or facilities for the students. And in fact, here I'd like to invest this program to send my new message to Dr. Tariq Shawqi and Dr. Mustafa Madbouli, which is what? To make the day of. What do I mean by the day of? I want this day, today will be for science, tomorrow will be for Arabic, after that will be for social studies, after that for English. Why? Because here I discovered that most of the students suffering from the idea of fruit salad, you know, when, for example, a session after a session, you know, the session is half, okay, or a quarter, or exactly 45 sometimes 40, sometimes have an hour or 30 minutes. Can you imagine a student taking science, half an hour Arabic, half an hour science, half an hour math, half an hour and so on. After that, private, or with his mom, or with his father, also repeating again these fruit salads. What's happening at the end of the exam? Before exams, we have great study. He exerted his efforts. But what's happening? I can't remember anything, my mom. Why? Because the idea of fruit salad. But if we specialize the day of, and this is my a new idea which I hope to apply, and I sent it to Dr. Tariq Shawqi on WhatsApp message, but he replied in fact, and I thank him, okay, and said it's not our time now, because I know, okay, he is concerning with ثانوية عامة and the primary stage and so on. But if this happen with our primary stage or preparatory stage, today instead of periods of half an hour, or no, it will be a small lesson, it will be a session to take the theoretical part of science, then we are going to go to the lab to apply the practical part. Okay, to return home, what the students will do, he will go to revise on sciences. So this day is the day of science. If you save well, say I'm talking here in a psychological way, if you save well in a student, he will recall well. So before exams, we won't suffer from forgetting anything, because of the idea of fruit salad. I hope this idea to be applicable.
That's a very good
and to
idea.
be applied. Yes, okay, to be applied for the benefit of the students and for the benefit also of some parents who suffer, okay, in studying, because you know most of the parents support and
they lose their focus. But then, because we are running out of time, we don't have too much time on us. We only like have a couple of minutes or something.
Yeah.
Your own capsule or tip for the new modern technique to enhance our kids or our students' knowledge to cope with the new millennium.
Yeah, I hope. First of all, this is my message to Dr. Tariq Shawqi and Dr. Mustafa Madbouli. According to the exams, I hope, I suffered many days during the exams, which I really observed and found what's happening. Cheating, still happening. How can we prevent that? I said many times in many articles that I send my message, my new idea to Dr. Tariq Shawqi, Dr. Mustafa Madbouli, that we have to make a center for exam center. For example, Maadi department for ثانوية عامة, how many students in ثانوية عامة in Maadi department? We have, for example, 1,000. Okay, we have to make exam center. This exam center will be qualified by the Ministry of Education, and it will be on computers, the exam, not online, because there is a problem to make online exams. A, B, C, D, like we were examined on Cambridge University like this way. A, B, C, D. And the CD exam will be sent from the Ministry of Education directly to this certified exam center. Okay? And after finishing submitting by the last click on computer, what will happen? The student will take his results directly on paper, documented results. Okay? To give the facility and the qualifications for this center exam to to give the results directly. Here, I'm talking again on this point of view, because I found in correction, third prep or ثانوية عامة, no one takes his rights. Okay? Also, if we want to improve, we have to invest this new generation, okay, because they are ready, as I said, but we have to equip most of the schools, okay, to make the schools equipped with with most of the facilities for the students, okay, because up till now, I can't find the school except international schools. Okay, some international schools, yes, are equipped with with many facilities for this new generation. This, believe me, Ms. Dina, this new generation are ready to receive any new technology, but we have to cope with them using their mobile, investing in their tablets, by applying online after school, okay, respecting the day or school day. After school, we have to make a project by the Ministry of Education with the teachers to help with these students investing in the tablets, investing in the mobiles, and to make projects and to let them think, let them make projects, let them participate with each other, to let them speak, group work, pair work, and so on. And to allow them visit new ideas like the book and places like the book fair to exchange new ideas with the new generation.
Right. On that excellent note, we're going to be ending it here. Dr. Ibrahim Tehewi, you're an educational expert, excellent educational expert. Thank you so much for coming.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.
And wish you all the best.
I am really grateful. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Many thanks.
And I guess that brings us to the end of this edition of Windows on Current Affairs. Many thanks to all of you. Until we see you again next week, that's a goodbye.